welcome to my presentation on how to use a virtual professional learning community to support technology integration in a K-12 school district. I'm Brielle Kachalik, and I work at the Center for Mathematics, Science, and Computer Education. I chose to present my dissertation on a virtual PLC because it meets the needs of our changing ways in education, especially in a virtual setting. I have outlined the learning objectives that will be covered in my presentation, which will take you through the research study that I conducted to help support K-12 teachers with technology integration across 2 schools in a school district that implemented one-to-one Chromebooks over the past 5 years. The study took place during the 2020-2021 school year, which also was during the coronavirus pandemic. I will review my research for how I came about the virtual PLC, go over how I created my Google site, which was created for my intervention, and then the resources found to be beneficial from participants in the K-12 setting. A little more overview of this district I worked with is that it is a school district with 45 schools located in the Southeast United States. The current practice for technology support is for 1 technology coach per 7 schools that visits that school once a month to provide support. But during this school year, they were unable to come in person, so they had to provide that support once a month virtually as well. For the purpose of my study, I found my problem of practice through the research and a needs assessment that I conducted. The problem of practice uncovered from that needs assessment and research was that teachers had access to technology, but faced factors that affected how they implemented and integrated that technology. The factors identified were technology skills and confidence, and technology support and resources. I also found it important to define what technology implementation and integration were for my study. For technology implementation, it was having access to and using technology. Technology integration was incorporating that technology confidently and successfully into the curriculum on a daily basis to support students' learning and their 21st century skills. I used both a constructivist and a connectivist approach to learning as a framework for the intervention, enabling teachers who took part to expand their professional network of support and resources, helping to build those technology skills and confidence. A constructivist approach to learning occurs from pre-existing knowledge and learning experiences. Teachers' learning environment goes beyond that classroom and allows them to enhance their learning opportunities. Learning occurs through interactions, experiences, and reflections. I also went further and looked at a connectivist approach to learning, which is a newer approach that breaks off of that constructivist. Using a connectivist approach can help to better understand how digital learning can explain learning. The learning occurs through networks, experiences, multiple learning platforms, informal learning, and collaboration. Through my research, I focused on ways to provide resources and create support and collaboration opportunities to build teachers' technology skills and confidence with a long-term goal of technology integration. The first area I looked at was professional developments. The key findings to successful professional development were longer than a day, relevant to the audience, hands-on, and allowed for collaboration. Another area of research that I looked at was informal learning. The key findings of this study reviewed found that informal learning sites and social networking sites provided teachers with opportunities for sharing, networking, support, and collaboration, all of which can provide teachers with technology integration support and resources, helping to build their skills and confidence. The other area that I looked at were professional learning communities. I looked at and reviewed both virtual, in-person, and blended approaches. The research studies indicated that using an online community creates opportunities for teachers to collaborate, expand their professional learning community, participate in discussions, and gain relevant resources to use in their classrooms. The last area I looked at was a community of practice. Each of these studies showed communities of practices created opportunities for communication, collaboration, and reflection among teachers, which helped to increase their technology skills and confidence and knowledge in creating technology integrated lessons. Because of this, and due to the COVID restrictions that did not allow for teachers meeting or for professional learning communities to take place in person, I created a virtual PLC that created a space for teachers to seek support and collaboration from peers and gather resources, all with the idea of building teachers' technology skills and confidence. The focus of the convergent parallel mixed method study was to support technology integration for kindergarten through eighth grade classroom teachers through a virtual professional learning community that took place in the 2020-2021 school year. The virtual PLC created a platform for teachers to have access to and use resources and support, build technology skills, and increase confidence to promote that technology integration in their classroom. Just a little overview of the participants. I had 15 teachers take part in it from K through 8 schools. It was 2 schools within the district. I'd hoped to get more teachers and one more school, but due to the pandemic going on and teachers being required to do blended learning with students in person and virtual, I was not able to get as many participants, but I did get 15 and did find results that showed that this type of virtual PLC is beneficial and helpful for teachers. I will say that the 3rd through 8th grade teachers had been working with Chromebooks prior to the pandemic, and then 2nd grade was in the process of getting those Chromebooks in that year when the pandemic broke out, and then the K1 school students and teachers got switched in March of 2020 to Chromebooks. They were using iPads prior to that. So the next part I'm going to go over is the creation of my virtual PLC through a Google site. If this using the Google site gave them access to technology resources and support and collaboration opportunities. I chose to use a Google site because the school district uses Chromebooks and all the students and teachers had Google accounts. So I was able to give this to them easily. I was also able to make it private for only the participants in the study and for the researchers as well. The next part I want to do is go through the different parts of the Google site and show you the different sections of it. So I'm going to start at the homepage, which is right here. And in the homepage, you will see it's broken up into 4 sections. And I'm going to go through each of those sections so that you have an understanding of what I included for my virtual PLC. So the first part was a discussion board. And I will say all of this was very informal. It was when the teachers needed help, when they wanted support, that they would go onto the site and use it. You will see with the discussion board, I posted questions, the teachers posted questions. It was open throughout the whole study, so they could go on at any point if they needed help with anything or if they were looking for anything. I each week would send out an email and I would highlight different parts from the discussion board, also different parts of the other areas of the site to remind teachers that this was here for them, which seemed to be helpful in getting them to take part and participate in the different sections. The second section was the school resources. With the school resources, they had different parts that go further in. So one of them was the technology available at the different schools, and then it gave more information about that technology and how to use it. The next part of that was professional developments that were around and any opportunities that they had that they wanted to further understand with technology, they could check out those. The last 2 parts go together. The first is a review and app or site, which was a Google form. It looked like this. They would put the name of the app, benefits of this app, how they found it to be useful, the link, the subject areas, and then the grade levels that they felt that it supported, which then was placed into a spreadsheet. And then they had access to this spreadsheet. And there were different categories that were broken down. So you could see the subject areas, that link that were in that Google form description. And then I also put the school expert of who used that app or site so that when they go on here to try to use it, they could reach out to that expert to get further support with using it. And then they were broken up here for them so that they could find them. So what was nice is, let's say that a teacher was looking for a way for their students to be able to record a presentation. Well, they could go in, look at the apps and sites that recommended, and they could know, okay, these work at our school. They're not blocked by the firewall, but then I can also go talk to that expert and ask them a little bit more of how it worked within their classroom with it, which the teachers found to be beneficial and helpful throughout the school year. The next area was the district technology resources. This area was where the district had given different resources and support. So this gave them access to who our technology coach was for our school, how to reach out to them. They also had put together a blended district learning sites so that it could help with the transition to both in-person and virtual teaching at the same time for the students, and then some technology integration research that I found and put there for the teachers if they wanted to know more information. The last area was just more information on Google Suites and the different types of apps there, and then some different tips with it, how to use it, some different videos. So that was all in one location so that teachers didn't have to go hunting to find information, which takes more time. Instead, they could just go everywhere to this site. A couple of key kind of takeaways, though, definitely keeping it up to date. Also, sending out either a newsletter or an email blast, something that reminds those teachers that this site is here for them. And then the discussion board focusing or giving a highlight of anything going on there so that teachers know that there are other teachers looking at it that can help give them feedback and information. And then the apps and sites, any new ones that are recommended with it. So that's a little bit of an overview of the actual Google site and the virtual professional learning community that I used. Now I want to go into some of the research questions and the findings that fit with today's presentation. The first outcome research question that I measured were how participants' skill levels had changed after taking part in that virtual PLC. I used both quantitative and qualitative analysis. The qualitative analysis occurred through the focus group interviews, which I did both in the mid term of the virtual PLC and then at the end of the virtual PLC. And then they also took a pre and post survey from it. Comparing the survey data to the focus group, skill growth was found to have occurred, but it was stronger data coming from those focus group interviews. They were able to express their growth. Also with the surveys, participants could have been answering the pre-survey with what they thought their researcher wanted to hear, while in the post-survey, they were a little bit more honest. So I didn't see much of a growth within that pre and that post survey, but I did within the interviews that I had those focus groups with them. Overall, the findings did show that there were support for skill growth occurring through that virtual PLC, but they still had more room for growth with building their technology skills as well for it. Another research question that I measured, or another part of those research questions that I measured, was that confidence in technology. With that, I looked at what extent did teachers' technology confidence change after participating in that virtual PLC. Again, I both did qualitative and quantitative analysis for this with the focus group interviews and then with the survey for it. I will say that in those surveys, I had at least 5 participants state that they did see growth with their confidence in using that technology. Some of those included trying new things, adapting, being more aware, and less frightened of that technology. The findings had mixed results from the focus group again and the survey results, with the focus group interviews indicating more growth in their confidence than those survey results. But overall, I would say that the participants did find growth with their technology and using it through that virtual PLC. Another area that I measured and looked at was support for it. Again, I used qualitative and quantitative analysis for this. The support, I did also look at the discussion board and reviewing what the participants did and asked for with help within that discussion board. And then I also, for the quantitative analysis besides the survey, looked at the recommended apps and sites that participants recommended throughout the course of that study. The findings of both the qualitative and quantitative did find that the discussion board part of the virtual PLC had provided a great deal of support for helping with those teachers and technology integration and giving them the resources and that building that skills and confidence with it. So I definitely would recommend using a discussion board when using a virtual PLC, because it allows for them to have that informal discussion with their peers and being able to get the support that they might need either from the tech coach or from their peers that are also using that technology in their classroom. The last research question that I focus on for this presentation has to do with collaboration. For collaboration, I did a qualitative analysis looking at the discussion board and the focus group interviews that took place during this study. For the collaboration, the findings of the collaboration indicated that the virtual PLC did foster a safe place for participants to be able to collaborate, ask questions, and learn through their participating in the study. The discussion board was one area that this collaboration occurred. I also like to note that there were interactions with each other through face-to-face interactions within the school building or phone calls or emails that also took place besides just that discussion board. Overall, the virtual PLC created opportunities for participants to be able to collaborate, to build their support, to gather their resources, which helped to increase their technology skills and confidence with using that technology and being able to, in that long-term goal of being able to incorporate technology integration within their lessons with their students. The last area that I would like to go over with my presentation has to do with the technology found beneficial from the participants in the study. Overall, the course of the virtual PLC, participants gave their recommendations of these apps and sites they found to be beneficial in the classroom. They made these recommendations through that Google form that I had showed, through the discussion board, and through in-person or email or phone call interaction. They would provide explanations of how to use them, what grade levels, what subject areas. And then they were broken up into the categories depending on the type. So what I did is I then broke them up here for you to see into three main categories. The first area has to do with discussion and collaboration. The second area has to do with games, and the last area has to do with sites. If you're looking for ways to provide discussion and collaboration opportunities, these are a couple of ones that were found to be useful for this to occur. I will say that you could also add Jamboard on there, which is Google connected, so that's helpful because it goes right into your Google Drive. With Padlet, it's hosting a real-time collaboration website platform in which users can upload, organize, and share content through a virtual board. All of them are hyperlinked as well, so you can get to each of them easily. Flipgrid is a website app that allows teachers to facilitate video discussion. So you actually can record little videos of it, and there can be a question posted that the students are able to go through and use those. Parlay was another one. It's an instructional technology platform that makes it easy for teachers to facilitate, measure, and assess student-driven discussions in person and online with it. So those are just a couple of them that can be used with different subject areas that all fit into that K-12 setting as well. The next one had to do with some different games that teachers found to be helpful. A lot of these were used for review games. For it as well, you have Kahoot, which is a game-based platform. Our user-generated multiple choice questions that can be assessed via a web browser or a Kahoot app. There's Blue Kit. It's a new take on trivia and review games. The way it works is that the teacher or host picks a question set and a unique game mode, and then it will generate a code for those players to use to join that game. What's neat is that it has different fun ways of playing the game. It's a variety of games for it. And then GimKit's another game one as well for the classroom that allows for collaboration, knowledge, and then different strategies to win. The Blue Kit and the GimKit are fun because they are not just like where Kahoot is that multiple choice true false, but they actually have where they can actually steal money or they're trying to beat the game. They have different types of characters, things like that. And again, these all work for K-12. And then Quizlet as well, which is just a simple learning tool that can be used for studying, but you also can use it for games. It's flashcards. So it's that digital aspect. It is free, but you can also go to Quizlet Live, and that allows for students to participate all together to review those flashcards, those definitions, those words with it. And then the last area I looked at were some sites. These sites, some of them you may have to pay for or have a subscription like Brain Pop and Explore Learning, but I wanted to show the KSM as well. News ELA is an instructional content platform that has all types of reading engagement for all different levels and subject areas that are all free out there. Edpuzzle are videos that have questions embedded within them. So the students have to go through and actually watch the video and have to answer the questions so they can't skip ahead. And then Explore Learning are virtual science and math opportunities where they are experiencing labs and simulations. This goes for grades 3 through 12. It really doesn't hit that K2 for it. And then the last one is Brain Pop, which has those videos, those games. It connects with Google Classroom so that you can assign different parts to it as well. But these were just some of the technology that the teachers found beneficial within the study that I wanted to highlight that could also be helpful for other K-12 teachers. And they are all hyperlinked as well. I want to thank you for taking the time to listen to my presentation. If you have any questions or want further information about the virtual PLC or the benefits or how to set it up or any of the resources, don't hesitate to reach out to me. I've provided my email. I would be happy to talk further with it or help you with either creating one for your school or your district or helping with teachers with any of the technology that they can use within their classroom. Thank you so much for listening.